What makes a great sports car? The common consensus is a small, lightweight, engaging, and maybe something that offers an open-top experience. And I'd agree. So does the 718 Spyder check all these boxes? It's definitely light compared to modern standards. In fact, this particular car weighed in at 17 kilos, or just over 3,100 pounds. So let's find out what this car is about. Before we get started with this review, please take a moment to like and subscribe. Thank you. Let's get started. If you're looking for an alternative to the 997 GT3, this 718 Spyder might be a really good alternative. And no, it doesn't have the same Metzger engine that provides you all the theater that you could ever want, but the engine in this is quite good. And the steering, I'd say, is a 9 out of 10. And that's comparing to something like a Lotus Elise or Lotus Exige. And those, I feel like, are the benchmark for steering in vehicle. It loads up nicely, goes back to center, and gives you all the feedback you could ever want. The shifting in it reminds me of an S2000. It's light, but positive and short. The gearing, a lot of people go back and forth on this. Some people say it's too tall, some people say it's too short. And I think it depends what you're doing with the vehicle. If you're trying to compare it to like an older Boxster or Cayman, those cars make something like 220 horsepower. This makes 400. And there's modern day emissions Porsche had to deal with, and I would kind of think that Porsche kind of leaned towards the side of making this more track focused like they normally do, because this is a very potent car on track. In fact, it's comparable to a 997 GT3 on track. Not the RS, but the standard GT3, and that's saying something coming from a Boxster. So this is no longer the sub 300 horsepower car that needed the low gearing for canyon driving. This thing has 400 plus. And because of that, you really don't need that low of a gear, I feel like. And this transmission works very nicely on highways, long road trips, and the track. It is a little tall for canyon driving, so keep that in mind. Space, plenty of it. You got a front and rear trunk, so you could easily make a road trip with 2 people in this. Your wife, but she's going to pack 2 suitcases, and you can throw them in the front, and then for whatever your baggage is going to be in the trunk. The top on this is a little cumbersome, but once you get used to it, you can generally get it up and down in 60 seconds. And the beauty of it is you don't have to worry about any hydraulic mechanisms, electric motors, sensors ever going out, and so it's going to last a really long time. The material, if you treat it right, should last the life of the vehicle. Is it the right top option for a mistress that you might buy this vehicle for? No. But it's very easy to use. A lot easier than the RS car. Speaking of the RS, if you're comparing this to the Spyder RS, I would say this is a much more stunning looking vehicle compared to that. And I'm going to use an analogy. Think about comparing a GT3 Touring to a GT3 RS. The Touring is a better looking car. It's gorgeous, in fact. But the RS is the track monster. And if that's something you're going for, go for the track beast. But I don't think anyone that's looking at the Spyder is really concerned about track times. They're concerned about the engine noise, and that's fair. I think at some points the GT3 engine sounds better than this engine. Do I want to live with it on long road trips? No, but if I'm driving on short canyon drives like this, oh, I'd take the GT3 engine all day. But unfortunately, you don't get that compromise. And the styling of the standard Spyder, I just think it's better. It's cleaner. It's more classical. It's less radical. I think that radical design works on the GT4 RS because people that buy the GT4 in general are going to track the car. But if you're going for the Spyder, you're kind of going for the smooth looks, the beauty of the car. So I think the future king in terms of, you know, looks and, you know, just the way it ages, I think the standard Spyder will age better than the RS. And that brings me to my final point. If you're buying one of these cars as a long-term investment, I think, and I'm not a fiduciary, so this is not investment advice, but I would say if you're looking at getting a Spyder, I'd say it is a really good vehicle you can get your hands on. Prices are relatively low right now on these. But I would think they're going to go up because this is the antithesis, I think, of a Porsche Boxster. It's the best looking Porsche Boxster in my opinion. And it is the antithesis in terms of power, steering, braking, performance, all that. And the next generation of 718, it's called 718, it's going to be electric. So there's no more manual transmission, no more 8,000 RPM V flat six. It's going to be an electric car. So if you're looking for something that has Apple CarPlay, an open top experience, that's light, that hasn't gotten much bigger, this may be the car for you and to buy now and to hold on to and see what the market does with it. Because unlike the 911, this car, you know, chassis series has never really gotten that much bigger. This is about the same size as the original Boxster. You can't say the same thing about the 911. The 911 is turned into a GT car at this point. It's no longer, I'd say, a sports car sized vehicle. It is a GT car that is very fast. But if you're looking for a sports car that's wickedly fast, that just has gorgeous looks, probably the best looking car for under $400,000, I would say look no further than the current generation Spyder. And I think right now is the good time to buy them while the prices are probably going down on these because people are focused on the RS cars. So the hype is not on these right now. Maybe in 5 years will be even the better time to buy one of these. But what a great car. I can see why Matt Farah really loves his, and that's his choice in Porsche, and he's driven a lot of them. And I think that is a very great endorsement for this vehicle, is when you have someone like that has driven probably all the great 911s and Porsches to endorse this vehicle. And I can see why. It's just so good. So with that, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.